Hey everyone, I'm Trevor and you're watching SoCal Disney Dad, and today we are at the San Diego Zoo and we're going to be going to SeaWorld because we are answering the question, probably one of the most popular questions I get on my channel, and that is, can you do the San Diego Zoo and SeaWorld San Diego in the same day? And that's what we're going to answer for you. I have a checklist of things that I need to do here at the zoo, and I have a checklist of things to do at SeaWorld San Diego, and we're going to see if we can get them all done in a single day. So come on this adventure with me. Let's get going. I got here right at 9 o'clock. Actually, I was a little behind. It was 9:05. I hit some traffic that I wasn't expecting, so factor that in whenever you're driving to the zoo. But look, it's a weekday, so it is a little less crowded here. I'm gonna be able to walk straight up to the turnstiles here. All right, so here's our agenda for this morning. What we're going to do is we're going to go explore the all-new Wildlife Explorers Basecamp, which is the children's zoo that just opened up here about a week ago. And then after that, we are going to ride the Skyfari to the other side of the park. We're going to see the elephants, go through Elephant Odyssey. After that, we're going to go down through Africa Rocks, and we're going to visit the backside of water. And then we're going to go up the Tiger Trail, see the hippos and the tiger, and then work our way back up to the top of the park. From there, we're going to eat lunch here and then hop over to SeaWorld San Diego. So if I can get all that stuff done, I need to get it done in the first 4 hours that I'm here, because you want to start in the San Diego Zoo because it opens at 9. SeaWorld San Diego doesn't open until 10, so you need to take advantage of that extra hour. Plus, the zoo closes earlier than SeaWorld, so it's better to start with the zoo and then go to SeaWorld. The path that I've chosen for here at the zoo should get us through most of the zoo. We won't see the urban jungle, and we also will skip the polar bears in the Arctic plunge area. But aside from that, we should be able to see most of the zoo with the path that I've chosen. And so we're not going to see just those 6 things. We're also going to stop and, see everything along the way. I'm not going to be rushing. I'm going to be walking at a leisurely pace as if you are coming here to the zoo as well. So let's go. They do have a bus tour here, and it is a fantastic tour, which is what they're doing right there. But it's a 40-minute ride, and you simply do not have time for it if you want to see the whole zoo. Now, that being said, maybe you don't care about walking the whole zoo, and this tour will take you around the outside in just 40 minutes. So you can see most of the things from the bus, and maybe that's what you want to do in order to get the zoo done. But I would much rather be boots on the ground, walking through the area, going at my own pace, and so we're not going to get on that bus here this morning because it takes way too much time. It's not something that we want to do for this particular challenge. Here we are approaching the all-new Wildlife Explorers Basecamp, and right next to it is the Skyfari, which is why we've organized our schedule the way that we have. But the Skyfari, I don't believe, opens until 10. So we have an hour to explore Wildlife Explorers Basecamp, and we're going to do our best to use that hour here. I am going to take a slight detour. We're going to go into the all-new hummingbird habitat that opened about 6 months ago, and Komodo Kingdom as well. So let's just pop over here into Komodo Kingdom first. He's just hanging out right here on this rock. This window's kind of cloudy. And here's the other one. A little bit smaller. The window's not as cloudy. I'm sitting up right next to the window, so I can get a nice view. This early in the morning, you're pretty much going to have all these places to yourself, which is kind of nice. Right across from Komodo Kingdom is the hummingbird habitat, so we came over here and popped right in here. There are all sorts of birds in here, not just hummingbirds. In fact, there's only 3 types of hummingbirds in here. We have the emerald hummingbird, Costa's hummingbird, and Anna's hummingbird. The rest are different types of birds, but we can see all those just flying around in here. Where'd he go?
Yeah, and we do have that. You'll see them a lot.
Oh. It's like these birds are just zipping all over the place. I'm having a hard time getting up. Oh, come on. Here we have some yellow birds up here. At least they're being a bit more stationary than the bluebird. I can't seem to catch the bluebird. All right, now we're going to go into Wildlife Explorers Basecamp. It's easiest just to start over here with spineless marvels. Now, I have previously toured the Wildlife Explorers Basecamp, and I'll go ahead and link to that video now if you want to see the entire tour. We're not going to show everything here on this video, but as you can see, the new exhibits here are mostly empty because it's a weekday, so we can take our leisurely pace looking at all of these bugs, and we're going to do that right now. But if you want to actually see the bugs yourself, you can check out my other video. I didn't get a chance to enjoy this game last time we were in here because there were lots and lots of kids. So I'm the bee and I'm like pollinating flowers up here, and then the grasshopper comes in and like takes them all away. And my my completionist heart, because I love video games, really wants to. The ecosystem is looking great. Thanks, but I only got 3 flowers in the end, and I'm disappointed by that. I do love this bee exhibit, so I'm going to show you that. Lots and lots of bees. Once you leave Spineless Marbles, there is an upper path here, and then there is a lower path. And the upper path is going to actually head over to like Cool Critters or something like that. The lower path brings you down here, which is a lower section of Spineless Marbles. But we're going to come back up here to the upper portion, and we're going to hit the lower portion later because there's also a lower portion of Cool Critters, and we want to hit them at the same time. So now we're heading into Cool Critters. And this is just a quick look at the Cool Critters area up here. Mostly reptiles and things. You're going to see a lot of snakes and iguanas in this upper portion here. Check out this mural over here. We've got all sorts of animals in here, very, very colorful. See giraffes, lions, elephants, turtles, rhinos, penguins, flamingos, polar bears, koalas, cheetahs. All sorts of fun animals over here in this mural. Well, we made it through that upper portion quite quickly. It is only 9:30 and we're already done with the 2 upper sections, and just anticipate that it's going to take you a lot longer. If you bring kids, I didn't bring Benjamin with me because he's not feeling very well. My intention was to bring Amy and Benjamin with me, but I just said that I wasn't going to rush through things. However, because it is a weekday and there just weren't that many people in there, there was no lines to see the animals, and a lot of them weren't all that active here first thing in the morning. When we came to Wildlife Explorers Basecamp last time, it was noon already, and the animals were a bit more active. Also, it was a lot busier in there. It was a Friday. I don't know if that makes any difference. Today's a Tuesday, just in case you're wondering. And it was the opening day, though, of Wildlife Explorers Basecamp, so I think a lot of people were just in here because of opening day. So it was very busy, and we didn't get to, we had to wait in line to see all the animals and that sort of thing. But since there's no one here on a Tuesday, I was able to just walk right through there. You may take a little bit more time or less. Of course, I'm sitting down here on this park bench. I'm passing some time talking to you guys, so I am making up the time elsewhere. There's a play area that I'm about to show you. I will not be spending time in there, but just know that my child spent like 30 minutes in there the other day and didn't think that it was enough time. He just wanted to spend more time. We spent a total of an hour and a half here in the children's zoo when we came, and still he wanted to stay. So factor that in. This is just a new area, and if you spend half of your day in this new area, then you're gonna have a hard time getting both parks in one day. Here's a little stage area that they use for animal encounters and shows, and we saw one the other day. Again, that'll be in the Wildlife Explorers Basecamp video. But over here is the kids area, kids play area. There's a huge water feature down here. It's gonna be 87 degrees today, and so you better believe that there will be kids down there playing in that water a little bit later on. But right now it's only about 59 degrees first thing in the morning here, and so nobody getting wet as of yet, but they definitely will before too long. We have a nice rope bridge. They actually have a rope tunnel there that the kids can climb in, and there's this V-shaped rope bridge that kids can climb across. Just lots and lots of stuff here to do at the all-new Wildlife Explorers Basecamp. But if we go through this tunnel, we're now at the lower area. Oh, I didn't see this guy last time. Where'd he go? There he is. Oh, look at him. He's a cute little fennec fox. Hello. You're such a cute little guy. This path over here takes us to the downstairs portion of Jake's Cool Critters.
Like animal sufficient.
He's a ramble on.
I just heard some people who I don't think they've been here before just said, wow, this is such a gigantic zoo. And it is. The Wildlife Explorers Basecamp itself is the size of some zoos. There is so much to do in just this new edition. The zoo itself is massive, and I always recommend that you book an entire day here at the San Diego Zoo. But some of you still always ask me, can I do 2 parks in one day? So today we're doing the San Diego Zoo and SeaWorld, and another day we're gonna try to do, can we do the San Diego Zoo and the Safari Park in the same day? So that'll be a video that's coming in the future. And if you wanna see that video, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. That'll tell YouTube that you wanna see more of my content. And when that video becomes available, you'll be able to watch it. Now we're inside the lower portion of Cool Critters. And it is very cool down here, both aesthetically and temperature-wise. This is the caiman lizard. Well, we left the Cool Critters underground behind. And again, if you want to spend more time in these areas, you can check out my Wildlife Explorers Basecamp video, because I spent the whole time just looking at all the animals here. We look at a lot more bugs, a lot more lizards. Coming over into spineless marvels now. Just like they had bees upstairs, downstairs they have an ant display. This area used to be the children's zoo here at the San Diego Zoo before it was completely remodeled, and they renamed it when they reopened it to Wildlife Explorers Basecamp, because it is not just for children. And there's loads of things to do for people of all ages. Of course, there's that play area that is primarily for children, but it was just down in the bottom half of Spineless Marvels, and there were some really fun grandparents in there looking at all the insects. And I heard the gentleman say, wow, this place is so neat. So it's great for people of all ages, and you should definitely come check out the new Wildlife Explorers Basecamp. Well, I am done with the Wildlife Explorers Basecamp, and it's 9:45. Now, like I said, I would factor in about an hour and a half for you, but what happens if it is super empty and you do get through it a lot faster than you intended? And it's a little colder when you get here, so you don't want the kids to play in the water. What do? Or what should you move on to next? Well, we're gonna go right next to Wildlife Explorers Basecamp. It's actually the reptilian exhibit, where you can see even more snakes and lizards and things like that. So that's where we're gonna go next. Right here to the Clobbershaw Reptile House. And in here, there is just wall after wall after wall of reptiles and lizards. And this is a big giant square, and all 4 walls have lizards on them. Look, here's that caiman lizard again. In fact, I've seen a lot of the similar animals, same lizards and snakes, that they had over in the Wildlife Explorers Basecamp. They also have over here in the reptile house. Once you come out of the reptile house, they also have a reptile walk. So we're gonna go down that next. Right here we have a bunch of amphibian habitats. You can see some frogs and some toads and those sorts of things right here. They do also have snakes, if you're wondering why it's the reptile walk. Check this out, this is a salamander. As you saw, I basically just have this whole place to myself. Here is a little Panamanian golden frog. If you plan to come to the zoo on a weekend, do not anticipate to have everything as open like this. So my recommendation is, if you really do want to get the zoo and SeaWorld done in the same day, you need to plan to come on a weekday. Now we're moving on to the turtle area. So all of these windows are different turtles. This is the broad-shelled snake-necked turtle. Here's another turtle. At the end of this portion of the exhibit here, we have some different alligators or crocodiles. I'm not sure exactly which ones these are. These ones have long, skinny snouts. From here, you start to head back up towards the top, and I see the Skyfari is going now, so we are going to head on up to the Skyfari. But before we do, we have one more animal to check out on this path. Here we have the big land tortoise. I love coming to watch these guys, especially when it's feeding time. Well, we are going to check off Wildlife Explorers Basecamp now. I know we also came down to the Turtle Walk, but we're going to check that off because our first item on our checklist today is done, and it is now 10 o'clock, so we've spent an hour doing all of that. Now we're going to go ride the Skyfari. The Skyfari just opened at 10 a.m., and look at this. There's quite the line to ride the Skyfari already. Well, we are on the ride now, and I waited 10 minutes for the Skyfari. The line looked long enough that it could be up to a 20-minute wait already. Now the question is, do you actually need to ride the Skyfari? The answer is no. You can walk to the other side of the park, but riding the Skyfari is super fun. Another question is, does it cost anything to ride the Skyfari? No, it does not. If you have admission into the park, you can ride the Skyfari without any additional charge. So it's worth doing because, I mean, take a look at these views. Well, that's it. Skyfari is done, so check another one off the list. From this point, we can go two directions. We could head down this way, which will take us to Polar Bear Plunge, or we can head up this way, which will take us to Elephant Odyssey. We're gonna try not to do any doubling back in our visit here this morning, so we're gonna actually head this way towards Elephant Odyssey. They also have a 4D theater here, Mowgli's 4D Jungle Adventure. We're not actually going to do that, but it's something that you can consider. It opens at 10:30. I actually had another thought. You could theoretically go down to Polar Bear Plunge, which is right next to that Skyfari exit, spend 15 minutes in there, and then go see the Mowgli's 4D Adventure. I did just ask, though, and that theater is a 15-minute show. So at the most, we probably wouldn't get out of there until closer to 11 after they wait for more people to arrive and things like that. So I don't think we have time for it because we have 3 major exhibits that we have to get through and eat lunch in the next 2 hours or so. The first place on our agenda is Elephant Odyssey. First, you're greeted with a recreation of the La Brea tar pits. And they actually have some information on the La Brea tar pits, as well as some other places where they are able to find fossils throughout the Southern California region. And of course, the lion is asleep. He's always asleep, although he's usually up on one of these high-tabled perches rather than just laying on the ground. In the last hour and a half, the temperature has gone from 55 degrees to 71 degrees, and it's going all the way up to 87 today. And the jaguar is sitting in the back there. He's also in the shade. Right here is the front portion of the elephant exhibit, but I don't see any elephants right here, so we're going to keep walking. There are many more locations where they could be. Well, I do see one elephant back there in the gated area. He's chomping at the bit to get out here. He's like yanking on the chains to try to get out into his exhibit. But it looks like the workers are out there cleaning and getting his exhibit ready. So it's not quite open for him just yet. It's time for my favorite animal, the secretary bird. Here we go. Here's an elephant that's out on exhibit. Of course, he's showing us his behind at the moment. And it doesn't look like he's in a hurry to move anytime soon. I moved to see if we could get a better angle. He's a little bit further away now, but we can see that he's eating, which is why he's probably not likely to move anytime soon. Over here on this path, we also have some more insects. Now, these insects are also over at Wildlife Explorers Basecamp. The one on the left here is the jade-headed beetle, and that's the one that we actually took a close-up of while we were in there. It's a little bit in the shade. Now he's coming into the sun. Excellent. Excellent. Looks like it's chow time for a variety of animals. The camels over here are eating too. Now, if you actually notice, they usually put their food in places that are hard for them to get at, like in these bags or in different boxes. And they do that because it helps the animal to slow down and not overeat too much. And it also gives them something to do. It's kind of like a game for them to get the food out of the bag. There are so many animals in Elephant Odyssey besides just elephants. There's camels and llamas and vultures and insects, turtles, snakes, all sorts of things like that. We don't have time to look at absolutely every one of them. You might be able to, but I've filmed a lot of them. I'm just not sure how much are gonna actually make it into the video, so that this isn't, you know, like a 2-hour long video for you or anything. But we just went through Elephant Odyssey. It took us about 20 minutes. You can maybe spend 30 if you're going a little bit slower, and if it's more crowded, possibly up to 40. But 20 minutes for us in Elephant Odyssey. That is another item checked off the checklist for today. Next, we're gonna go into Africa Rocks, which kind of starts up here at the top at the Kopi. There is a serval in here. Obviously, he's a very popular animal because there's a lot of people over here at the moment. Usually I see him out and about, but he's actually up there sleeping today. The Africa Rocks area is one of the newer exhibits, Wildlife Explorers Basecamp being the newest, but this area being the second newest. And it is such a huge area. You'll see it in just a minute. Now, if you had left at this intersection right here, you're gonna actually head up towards the urban jungle and the Australian area, but we're gonna head right to go down into the Africa Rocks proper. So over here is the Hamadryas baboons. There are multiple viewing areas for these guys. This is just one spot from a bridge as you're walking by. This wall right here is another one of those viewing areas, but you saw all the baboons were pretty much over there by the bridge. There are some up on the rocks, but sometimes they're down here in the grass right up close to the windows, and they're just not today, so we're gonna keep going. Now is a good time to sit down and tell you that Africa Rocks is actually home to a lot of different shows that they have going on, but usually only during certain times of the year. So if you're coming during like Halloween or Christmas, they have special events, especially in the evening, that there are shows, there's music, there's entertainment, there's things like that that you can do. And it's recommended, again, I have to say this again, it's recommended that you spend a whole day at the San Diego Zoo. But if you are dead set on trying to get it done, San Diego Zoo and SeaWorld San Diego in one day, this video is going to tell you whether or not it's possible and exactly what you can see, what you have to miss in order to make that doable. There is an aviary in the Africa Rocks area, so we're going to go in. I really don't like aviaries, but this one's kind of okay. Now let's go into this lower portion of the aviary. It's the same aviary as you saw, just a lower walking path. Now, being down here is a little more precarious because birds are above me, and I don't like the idea of having them poop on me. But this one's interesting. He's like going into a nest from underneath. In fact, there's lots of these upside down hanging nests in here. All right, that was enough of that for me. I don't like aviaries. Now we found the ring-tailed lemurs. There's actually a bunch of lemurs in here, but we're looking specifically at the ring-tailed ones. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it. Here we are, the moment you've all been waiting for. The eighth wonder of the world, the backside of water. Woo! O2H, O2H, O2H. Of course, this is the area in Africa Rocks that we absolutely had to come and do and mark off our checklist. If you watch my channel, you know that pretty much in every video where I visit a place that has a waterfall like this, we're going in the backside of water. And we do that in every video because I love it. It's my favorite ride at Disneyland, Jungle Cruise. And here we are at this amazing waterfall in the Africa Rocks exhibit here at the San Diego Zoo, checking off another item from our checklist, the backside of water. As with Elephant Odyssey, there are more animals here that we're just not looking at yet. There's a fossa, there's some different monkeys, there are more lemurs that we didn't stop and see. There's at least like 3 or 4 viewing areas for the baboons, and we only really stopped at 2 of them. So there's just so much here to see and do. There's also a water area back there that we just passed that's got some turtles in it, maybe an alligator. We are gonna stop at the big, gigantic water area here at the bottom of the Africa Rocks region that you absolutely have to see. But aside from that, this is such a big path. It winds, and I've just been pretty much walking along the path, barely briefly stopping to see the animals, and already another 20 minutes has gone by. So it's just, there's so much to do here, and it's so big that it'll take you a while just to walk around the zoo, even if you're spending very minimal time looking at all the animals. Here we have some African penguins. Sometimes you can see these guys in the actual water swimming. I haven't seen them in the water swimming in quite a while. They're mostly just up here on the rock. But this little guy looks like he might be getting ready to get in, or he's just got an itch or something. This area right here marks the end of Africa Rocks, or the beginning, depending on which way you're coming in from it. But it's such an amazing aquarium that I totally recommend that you come in here and just enjoy, sit down on one of these benches, like many of these people are, and enjoy watching the sharks and the fish. It's just such a great exhibit. And if you're lucky, you might actually get to see the penguins swimming through here. Well, it is now 11 o'clock and we have spent 2 hours at the San Diego Zoo, and lunch places are starting to open, and we happen to be here at the Huame Cafe, which is at the bottom of the zoo area, like the absolute bottom in the valley here. So we're gonna stop here, and this is where we're gonna eat lunch. If you're interested in what they have good to eat here, they have Asian entrees, so teriyaki chicken, orange chicken, and a sriracha tofu. They also have burgers, pineapple teriyaki chicken sandwich, a bourbon bacon cheeseburger, a sriracha cheeseburger, and a chicken strip basket. They also have different things that you can purchase, like pork pot stickers and more. While I'm waiting for my food, I should mention that I haven't been rushing through any of this. I've been walking at an average pace-ish for me. Now, if I had my kids here with me, probably slow me down a little bit. But otherwise, it's not like I've been running very fast. I have skipped over some exhibits only because the animal wasn't out at exhibit, and I didn't put that in the footage if the animal wasn't there. But I did try to stop and at least enjoy the animals to a certain extent. And down in that aquarium area, I sat down for a good 5 minutes or so just watching the fish, because I love to watch fish. This is my meal that I got from Huame Cafe. It is the teriyaki chicken. So I get some teriyaki chicken with some sesame seeds. It looks like I've got some green veggies back there, as well as some white rice. And this is new, or at least different. They've changed it in a while. The last couple of times we've eaten here, they've always put it in one of those little Chinese boxes, and now they've put it in a bowl. And it actually looks a lot easier to eat this way, so that I can mix my chicken and my rice together. So I really like the change that they've made by putting this in a bowl. Lunch only took me 15 minutes. Now it might take you 30, and I also just walked right up there. If there's a line to get food, it might take a little while, so maybe factor in 30 to 40 minutes for food. We're gonna continue on with our day though, even though I only spent 15 minutes, and that's because I actually have to leave SeaWorld by 5 p.m. It's open until 6, but I need to leave by 5, so I'm losing an hour, so I'm trying to cram this all in one less hour than you would have available to you if you're spending every last opportunity. But you need to leave the zoo no later than 1 o'clock. That is the plan. 4 hours here. You're gonna have maybe 15 to 30 minute drive depending on traffic over to SeaWorld. We'll let you know exactly how long it takes to get through parking and all of that sort of thing. And then an ideal 4 hours at SeaWorld San Diego. So if we leave at 1 and get there at 1:30, 4 hours is 5:30 and it closes at 6. So that's what we're shooting for and what we're aiming for. Now this exhibit is where the pandas used to be, but the pandas got sent back to China, much to my youngest's dismay, because he absolutely loves pandas. But they moved the red pandas in here. There he is in the back. Do you see him? This particular path here is known as the Asian Passage, and we're gonna head down it. This is where you can find the snow leopard. Looks like the snow leopard is doing what the big cats tend to do. They're sleeping during the day. That one's up there sleeping too. The Asian Passage is really short. It only has the red pandas and the snow leopard. So we're actually going up somewhere that I wasn't initially anticipating on going on. So here we're at the eagle exhibit, and they have these big, huge, wide open areas. This one here has an Andean condor, and we're gonna see it in just a minute. But there's a bird sitting up on top of his fence. I just saw him poop. And there's that condor all the way in the back there for you. He looks like he's about to jump away. Like, I just started filming you. Please don't leave. The ornate hawk eagle is in here somewhere, but I can't really see him. These are such huge exhibits, and there's a lot of trees, so they could be, I mean, really anywhere. I hear a bird in there. It could be him. Well, I walked through that whole area really quickly. There's 3 eagles and 1 condor, and I didn't see any of the eagles. After we finished up the eagle trail, we looped back around, and now we're heading up towards that tiger trail. But there's some birds over here: a great white pelican, white-breasted cormorant, a great blue heron, a bunch of other birds in here. Looks like we found some flamingos. This is not the main area to see flamingos, but you can see them down here at the bottom of the Asian Passage Valley area. And here is our access path for the Lost Forest, which includes tigers, hippos, and the okapi. Looks like the hippos are right up here close to the glass.
Look, there are no birds up there.
It's always a special treat if you can catch the hippos right up on the glass like that. It's also fun to see them out swimming in the water as opposed to just sitting there, but at the same time the water is very cloudy, so when they're out in the distance it can be hard to see them clearly, and I love when they're right up against the window like that. It's pretty amazing. There are two paths that you can take right here. If you head to the left, you're actually going to go up towards the aviaries, which I don't need to go into another aviary today. You can see the tiger from up there, but that's the primary path of the aviaries. The main tiger path is over here off to the right, which is the way that we're going to go. And just like all the other cats that we saw here today, the tiger is up there sleeping too. Let's see if we can get a better angle on him elsewhere. It does look like he is just out of our view from this angle. Now if you look right over there, that path is where you come out of the aviary, and you can often see the tiger from there, but he's probably out of the shot for that angle as well, just based on where he's located. Do you know why they call him a Himalayan tiger? This is a Jungle Cruise joke. Because Himalayan over there, Himalayan up there, and Himalayan down there. Now that we've seen the tiger, that does finish off the last item in our checklist. However, it's only 11:45, so we have another hour, and I'm gonna give you some bonus items. We're gonna go looking for the gorillas now. As we head up this path, you're gonna find a lot of monkey exhibits. Off to the left and right, there's a red river hog up through here. There's a lot of animals that you can stop and look at. For the sake of the length of this video, we're not gonna show them all, but just know that they're here. Here is the gorilla exhibit, and I don't see any like super close except for this one right by the glass up here. Oh, there's another one over there off to the left by the glass. We're gonna wait our turn and get up there, but there's none like, you know, out there in the exhibit that's easy to see just walking around or sitting or doing things. This one right here is just sleeping. I did find one back there sitting, also in the shade behind a tree. I wouldn't say that I'm claustrophobic or that I have anxiety, but when we're in like tight spaces with a bunch of crowds and people like we were back there with the gorillas, I do tend to get a little nervous where it's like, okay, I just want to see them and get out. When it's not as busy, I feel like I can sit down, I can watch, I can enjoy the animals. It's probably more about an obvious awareness of like that there's people behind me and that I'm kind of in their way, because in the past, like especially with the gorillas, I saw one doing something amazing, and there were a couple of people in front of me, so I couldn't get a good shot, and I just wanted to get up there, and there were people in front of me were taking forever without any consideration that there was a massive line behind them. And by the time I made it up to the window, he had walked off, and I completely missed the amazing opportunity to get my own photos, my own video. So I'm constantly aware of the people behind me, and when I have a line behind me, it just makes me feel uncomfortable, like I can't enjoy things. There's not much left for me here to do. I could go to the urban jungle, but I think I may just head over to SeaWorld now. I'm gonna hit the orangutans on the way out. We might also stop by the primary flamingo area, which is kind of also on our path. If you want to see the orangutans, getting to them can be somewhat confusing from this angle. You actually have to walk through this food area. We've got one climbing over here. Oh, there's a little monkey down there too.
That would be me.
And there's another one over there. Oh, we just missed this guy swing down. Or maybe he's using that for shade. Oh, he just completely covered up. And that's it. It's 12 o'clock. We are exactly 3 hours here at the San Diego Zoo. And we've seen everything except for the polar bears, the rhinos, the giraffes, and those sorts of animals that I explained not too long ago. Otherwise, we probably covered a good 75%, 80% of the zoo. And we didn't go into any gift shops, didn't look around. And I would also say that if you have kids with you, just add an hour. So it took me 3 hours. If you have kids with you, add an hour. It'll probably take you 4 hours. You can still do that. You can so long as you are leaving the San Diego Zoo by 1 o'clock, you'll be fine. I think that's what we're gonna find out. My theory, the way that I've planned it, if you leave by 1 o'clock, you should be fine for getting SeaWorld in on the same day as well. But let's go to SeaWorld. Here we are at SeaWorld San Diego, including the drive time, parking, getting through security, all of that. It took me 22 minutes. I heard the campanile chiming 12 as I was walking to my car at the San Diego Zoo, and it is now 12:22 right here today. So we are over at SeaWorld San Diego, and it took 20 minutes for us to get here. Now, we have at least 5 hours. Well, we have 4.5 hours for me, but you would have, if you came over here at this time, you would have 5.5 hours to enjoy SeaWorld San Diego. So on my agenda while we are here is to go ride Emperor, to visit the walruses, to ride Manta, to see a show like Dolphin Days, and to go check out the dolphins. Now, if we have time, we'll also ride the Skyride here because we rode the Skyride at the San Diego Zoo, but we'll see. It doesn't go anywhere. So it's going to be a time thing, but we'll see what we get done. On Tuesday, March the 22nd at 12:30 p.m., it is 10-minute wait for electric eel. It says that Emperor is a 5-minute wait. 5-minute wait for Emperor. Since I'm here by myself, I got a locker to put all of my things in while I'm riding because you don't want any loose articles on the ride. Well, I pretty much walked straight onto Emperor. I grabbed a front row and I picked a wing seat because I prefer to be on the far outside. It gives you the biggest thrill, in my opinion. I love this ride. This lift hill is such a super fast lift hill. I'm in the back row right now. The first time I rode it, I was in the front row, so the forward-facing footage that you're going to see is front row footage, and then the me-facing footage, I'm in the back row. But you know, this lift hill is super quick. It doesn't really give you much time to feel nervous at all about riding this ride. When you get to the top, I mean, it's about the same height as electric eel, so if you can handle electric eel, you can handle this. It doesn't like hang you upside down like electric eel does, although there is this part right now that we're getting to. We're going to get to the hang time part of electric eel, or of Emperor, and we're going to stop right here. You get a much better view from the front, in my opinion. It's over so quickly, but such a great ride. I love it. I love it. Well, there we go. That's a tick mark off on the SeaWorld list. Emperor is done. Not only did I ride it once, but I rode it twice. Thought about riding electric eel because it was only a 10-minute wait, but I have to get a locker, and I don't want to keep paying for lockers. So I could have left my stuff at Emperor, walked over to electric eel, and then walked back, but I didn't want to do all that double walking. I'm not picky with what show I go see. There are shows every half hour starting at 2 o'clock, so I can hit either Sea Lions Live, Orca Encounter, or Dolphin Days. We'll see which one we end up going to. Depends on what time it is and where we are when that time comes around. But Wild Arctic is next, and then we will, well, I guess we'll see what happens after that. Just to give you a time check, we're walking into Wild Arctic at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Here we go. If you haven't been to SeaWorld in a while, they've taken out all these benches since COVID because they didn't want people congregating in here, and they have not put them back. But that's because the video is no longer there. I haven't shown this in a while, but one of my favorite features of Wild Arctic is this ice wall right here. Just come and run here. It's cold. It's cold. And the next item on our list was come see those walruses. And here we are, we have them all to ourselves. He's about to roll into the water. There he goes. Oh, that was so cool. First time I've ever seen that. And there's another one over here. The big boy just came out. Here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. Here he comes. Over here, guys. Come here. Billy, don't put your mouth on. Look at his flippers. since we were right next door, it doesn't hurt to go into penguin encounter now. Looks like the conveyor belt is broken again because people aren't moving along. Usually would be. Maybe it's because they're doing a presentation at the moment. They're feeding them and they want people to be able to stop and see. I'm not sure, but I've come to the upper area. And we can see some big emperor penguins right there. SeaWorld San Diego is the only place in North America that you can see the emperor penguin. This upper area does have benches to just sit down and enjoy the show. And by show, I mean just enjoying the penguins. There's no actual show in here. If you don't want to go indoors for whatever reason, you can enjoy the outdoor penguins. Maybe this guy's gonna come have a swim. Is he? Looks like he might. Looks like he might. Jump in, the water's fine. There he goes. I should probably mention that the temperature dropped about 10 degrees driving over from the San Diego Zoo to SeaWorld San Diego. So just the 15-20 minute drive was a 10-degree temperature difference because SeaWorld is right on the water and San Diego Zoo is in a tiny bit. So it is much warmer over there. And I'm a little chilly here in shorts today. It's about 75 degrees, but it's windy and the breeze is what's making it rather chilly. Well, it is 1:15 now, just 15 minutes, and I went through Wild Arctic and Penguin Encounter. I probably am moving quite a bit faster than I would if my family were here, but Turtle Reef, as of the time of this filming, is still temporarily closed for renovations. Otherwise, we probably could have gotten that done too. It's not very long to walk through that either. But we're gonna go hit up Shark Encounter now. I have never had the opportunity to ride Riptide Rescue because the line was always really long, but there's like nobody in line right now. And I was just walking over here by a Shark Encounter and this is right next to it, so I'm gonna go ride that while I have the opportunity. I don't know how to feel about this ride. I don't really do spinny type rides, but I've never ridden it before and we got the time, so let's do it. Here we go. All right. Oh boy. Okay. Actually, this isn't too bad. This isn't too bad. Let's spin it around so you can see. See, it's not too bad. It's just a swingy ride. I think Amy's journey on Wipeout at Knott's Berry Farm on Saturday, and I'll go ahead and link to that video if you want to watch it. I think she probably got mixed up and twisted around a lot worse than this. That's not too bad. That's actually really not bad at all. Now we're gonna go into Shark Encounter, and I think I'm glad I went to Riptide Rescue when I did because Dolphin Days just got out. And as you can see, there's this like massive herd of people that are all leaving that. And they come here to Shark Encounter and they go to Riptide Rescue. But Shark Encounter, I tend to bypass people and I'll show you why. But Riptide Rescue, it's a line, so you know, you gotta wait in the line. So nearly everyone stops and they look over this they look over this edge here into the water below, but it's just the same water as is down in the shark tunnel. So rather than just looking at the tops of fish, we're just gonna bypass all those people who are looking down in there, and we're going straight into the tunnel. It looks like the conveyor belt in the Shark Encounter tunnel is also down. So when that happens, this line tends to be a little longer. The conveyor belt keeps people moving. Looks like my grouper friend is hanging out at the bottom of the pool here.
The water's not. One of those big ones over there.
There you go. 2 bonus items I hadn't planned on doing because I just didn't think it would be this empty on a weekday during spring break. Now, mind you, I say this empty, and you can see that there are quite a few crowds here all the same, but like, you know, 5-minute wait for Emperor was amazing. And now we're gonna go ride Manta. I didn't see what the posted wait was, but we are going to wait in the standard line, and if this one is quite long, I'll punch out my quick queue, because it looks like it's stopped midway back here in the lower section. So we probably will punch out our quick queue for our second ride. I get a free quick queue because I'm a Platinum Pass member here at SeaWorld. One free quick queue every visit. But we'll let you know how long this line is. Well, that was about a 30-minute wait, and I would go ride it again because the line is like half of what it was when I got in line right now. But it's 2 o'clock, and I really need to get over to Sea Lions Live. I don't know if there's going to be a line or anything like that. Usually, good bit of advice for all times of year is to show up at shows 30 minutes before the show time. So show time for Sea Lions Live is 2:30, so I'm gonna go over there and get in line now at 2 o'clock. We are sitting just outside the soak zone. The row that I am in does not have a soak zone sign. It's kind of warm, it's kind of hot, but I don't know exactly. Never come down this close, so I don't want to get soaked, but I would like to get wet. The Biff pre-show starts at about 15 minutes before showtime. So it's 2:15, and Biff has come out onto the stage to do his fun pre-show act. He does all sorts of fun stuff, so make sure that you are absolutely here and seated at least 15 minutes before the show.
I'm singing and dancing in the rain.
Erin, Clyde, what are you two doing out here?
What do you mean, what are we doing out here? We're looking for our guest host, George Clooney. He didn't show up.
You hang up the phone, no? You hang up the phone, no? You hang up the phone. No, I hung up the phone first last time. It's your turn to hang up the phone.
Biff, hang up the phone. You get to host the show.
I get to host the show?
You heard me right. Go get ready.
Mom, I gotta call you back.
Whoa.
Wait, all you have to do is touch him?
Yeah, on his chest.
Okay, like this? Oh! How about 2 hands? Okay. No hands? Okay, Clyde, you're just too much!
Let's show off your speed. And he is off at top speeds, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, he has made it to go. Jump. And go. Ladies and gentlemen, watch as he makes his way up. And okay,
It's time for another time check. It is 2:45 in the afternoon. That show, including the pre-show, is a half an hour long, but without the pre-show, if you just show up at 2:30, it's a 15-minute show. Dolphin Days, if I remember, is a little longer, as is Orca Encounter, so both of those are going to be probably closer to the half an hour mark. So with the conclusion of Sea Lions Live, that gives us another check mark on our checklist of things to do in SeaWorld San Diego here today. And the final item that we need to do is actually go see the dolphins and or the orcas, or both. But I want to pass by the Bayside Skyride over here and see what the time is on that, because we do have time, I think, to ride the Bayside Skyride and to go check out the dolphins and orcas before we head out here today, being it's only 2:45. So let's go check it. A little bit of a line here at the Bayside Skyride, but not much. So we'll definitely wait for it. That was a 10-minute wait in total. Now, the Bayside Skyride, as opposed to the Skyfari at the San Diego Zoo, the Bayside Skyride does have a cost. It costs $6 per person for the Bayside Skyride, or if you are an annual pass holder, you can get in for free, but you have to be an annual pass holder, not a fun card holder, not a preschool pass holder. It has to be a paid annual pass in order to get the free Bayside Skyride. Also, whereas the Skyfari takes you to the other side of the park at the San Diego Zoo, here at SeaWorld San Diego, the Bayside Skyride doesn't take you anywhere. You start and stop at the same spot. It just goes around the bay. The return journey back to the main station is a lot less windy than going out. In fact, there's almost no wind going this direction, so you're going into the wind the other way. But again, a beautiful, beautiful view of SeaWorld from up here. The only thing to be aware of with this sort of ride is that they sometimes get stuck, and people get stuck on them, you know, hanging up here for hours. I've seen that a couple of times in the news. It's not like it happens every day. It's like, you know, once every 3 months or so, but it does happen, so keep that in mind. With the Bayside Skyride done, we are heading into Dolphin Point. Come say hi to the dolphins.
Hold on. Soon. Very soon.
Right now we have people being prepped for the Dolphin Interaction program, which is over there on the wall. Everyone in wetsuits are going in the water. And then over here, there's a check-in for the Dolphin Encounter, which is a thing where you're up against the wall and you're, you know, interacting with the dolphins from the outside, from the wall. That's happening over here. And how cool is this? It looks super fun.
Don't hug everybody.
Well, that was really neat. I've actually never been here to witness them doing any of the Dolphin Encounter or Dolphin Interaction program stuff. So that was pretty fun to be able to see some of that. They were just doing much of the same thing with, you know, different people, so I didn't stick around for the whole thing, but that was really, really cool. Time check, it is 3:30 p.m. and I am winding down here. Of course, there are many more things to do here at SeaWorld San Diego and at the San Diego Zoo. Well, that is it for our time here at SeaWorld San Diego. It is 3:30 in the afternoon, and yes, we were able to get everything done that we wanted to. We had those 5 items on our checklist. We did all 5 of them. Took 3 hours in both parks, 3 hours in San Diego Zoo, 3 hours at SeaWorld San Diego, for a total of 6 hours plus the half-an-hour drive time. You could get everything done at the San Diego Zoo and SeaWorld in just 6.5 hours. Of course, take some time, slow down, walk a little, you know, slower, enjoy some more animals or whatever, go do some more things. I didn't ride Electric Eel here. I didn't ride any of the kids' rides. We only saw one show. They have 2 other types of shows here, but we didn't even go see every animal. We didn't see the bat rays. We didn't see the sea lions and anything like that. Didn't even go down to the orcas. So much more that we could have done, but I did enough that I felt like we got quite a full day done here at SeaWorld San Diego. The same with the San Diego Zoo. Go ahead and ride that tour bus, even though it's 40 minutes. Go to the urban jungle and see the giraffes and the rhinos and that sort of thing. Whatever it is that you want to do, go ahead and do it, because you definitely will have time for it. 2.5 more hours I could have spent between either location. So yes, if you want to do it, go ahead, do SeaWorld San Diego and the San Diego Zoo in one day. But once again, if you have the opportunity, I highly recommend separating them into separate days, taking a slower pace and enjoying yourself fully at one park and then coming to the next park on another day. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and drop down in the comments what you would like to see me do. I'm always happy to try to do comparison videos or these 2-part challenges and things like that. If you want me to go to the San Diego Zoo and the San Diego Zoo Safari Park in a single day, more than happy to do that. Just let me know what you would like. And also hit the subscribe button as we visit all the Southern California theme parks: San Diego Zoo Safari Park, SeaWorld San Diego, Legoland California, Disneyland, and we even went to Knott's Berry Farm just this past weekend. So if you want to see that type of content, subscribe to my channel. We'll see you again next time.